So now, if you're just joining me right now, you probably heard that 25-minute rant that I just did in the last video. And I'm doing this video right now, regarding Dricuss D and Israel Adesanya. And what exactly is that? Is that I think this fight is going to have serious racial implications behind it, right? Because here's the thing, right? Does Israel Adesanya really mean to be the way that he is in terms of his hatred towards Dricuss D? Maybe there's a trigger in Israel Adesanya where he feels like, okay, you know what? I'm really triggered by this whole entire thing of Dricuss D saying that, oh, I'm not a real African because I live in New Zealand, and Dricuss D is a real African because he lives in South Africa. But then there's an apartheid, race card built into the whole promotion that I think even Nelson Mandela would be interested in to watch a fight like this, right? I mean, let's understand something. I always said, and I will stand by this, when it comes to combat sports, right, it's an extremely tribal matter. More so with the fans than with the actual fighters. Now, why is that? Well, for the fighters, you have to understand something. They understand that this is a sport. They also understand that they are businessmen. They also understand that they are part entertainers. And they also understand that this is part of the game that they have to do in order to sell tickets. Especially if you're one of these regional boxers or regional MMA fighters that's coming up on the scene, and you got to sell tickets, you got to sell yourself, you got to sell an idea, an image to people in order to get them interested in your fights and what it is that you do. But for the fans, everything is about a tribal effect. And let's say if you're a Mexican fighter like Yair Rodriguez, Cesar Chavez Jr. and Sr., Canelo. Then you have the likes of GSP with the Canadians. Then you have Michael Bisping for the English fighters. Then you have, Jose Aldo for the Brazilians. Gilbert Burns for the Brazilians. Khamzat for not just the Russians and the Eastern Europeans, but for all of the Muslims. And that includes Islam and Khabib as well. And Bilal Muhammad for the Palestinians. And so on and so forth. It's a tribal matter at hand, right? It is to try to connect a certain aspect of, okay, I'm from this part of the world, and this fighter right here is from this part of the world, so I'm going to support him as such because of that. But for the fighters, sometimes they play a role. Now, with Israel Adesanya, I don't know how much of this he's playing a role, or how much of this he's really dead serious. With Dricuss D, it almost feels like he's thrown into this situation to where he doesn't know how to really react. And I don't know if that's part of the mind games, but I can tell you that that certainly will affect the way that he comes about things. I saw this meme regarding Israel Adesanya where I believe one of his agents, maybe it was Tim Simpson or something to that effect, was whispering in his ear. And in the meme said something like, yeah, keep saying it to him because you can't say it back to you. He can't say it back to you. Because as you know, Israel Adesanya was dropping the N-bomb, saying, yeah, my African this, my African brother, my N-word, this and that, what N-word, blah, 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 what N-word, blah, 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 this and that. Nonetheless, it's like with Dricuss D, he's kind of stuck. He doesn't know what he's supposed to say. He doesn't know if there's a right way or a wrong way of going about things or this and that. And then on top of that, we live in a cancel cultural world right now. So it's almost debilitating in Dricuss Duplessis' part for him to even respond to something like this. And in the way that he responds, it's like, huh? You know what? I'm racist? What? Huh? I'm part of the apartheid or this and that? But it's quite genius in the part of Israel Adesanya. I don't know if it's deliberate. I don't know if it's serious that he's doing it or if there's a methodical game plan attached to it. But nonetheless, it is the cause and effect that is going on, whether he's subconsciously acting on it or planning on it or anything to that effect, right? Either way, it's genius because imagine this. I want you to imagine right now, right? Let's say they announce the Dricuss du Plessis Israel Adesanya fight tomorrow. And let's say they were going to do a press conference. So right now, as I'm filming this is probably on a Tuesday of July 11th. Tomorrow is July 12th. So let's say maybe tomorrow on a Wednesday they have a press conference. I'm not saying that they do, but let's say that, yes, that's the case, right? It would be a massive. And I can tell you that Israel Adesanya would get up on the mic, he would start calling him all these racial implications, or talk about the apartheid, or talk about the fact that he's a real African, and talk about the ancestry of Dricuss du Plessis, and then Dricuss du Plessis would fire back at something to the effect of, well, what have you ever done for Africa, or you've never lived here, or say something to that effect, right? I think that would blow over with a lot of people. Now, how about Donald Trump shaking the hand of Dricuss du Plessis? You don't think that the media will somehow eat that up and say, hey, look, right here, he shook hands with Donald Trump. And little do they know, months prior, during the fight of Israel Adesanya and El-Kheer, guess what? He even shook the hands of Donald Trump after he won the title back from El-Kheer, right? But the media probably won't show you that. And again, I'm only trying to show you all these different hypothetical scenarios that's going to happen and come about with Israel Adesanya and Dricuss du Plessis in their upcoming press conference, whether that would be tomorrow, or whether that would be next week, or whether that would be months from now, or maybe even next following year after December of 2023 and into January of 2024. Who knows when this fight is going to be, but when this fight happens, it's going to be big, it's going to be massive, and there's going to be a lot of huge racial implications behind it, even though Dricuss du Plessis wants no part of it. Now, why is that? Well, because let me just be honest about this whole thing. Do I find Dricuss du Plessis to be a racist guy to any degree? No. But here's the thing. There's a lot of white Americans out there that are not racist, but guess what? There's a lot of them that get called on for being this way or being that way, or because they support Donald Trump, they are somehow deemed a certain type of category, and they can't do anything about it, right? Like, look at what happens with the BLM riots, right? Let's say you try to stop them from trying to riot in your streets, or trying to riot your store. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to look like a racist, right? Nothing you can do, you can win in this type of narrative. Suppose you're a cop, right? In LA or in Wisconsin or wherever the George Floyd situation happened, right? You're just trying to somehow mitigate a dangerous situation because you're a cop and you were called to do these things and this and that. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to look like a racist. That's just the bottom line. How about the Marine that choked out that guy at the NYC subway, right? He choked him to death. Now, there's a lot of controversies that go into that, right? If you're a jiu-jitsu practitioner, you know that you shouldn't be holding a chokehold for no more than 1 minute, right? He held that for God knows how long, right? And then obviously it led to the guy's death, unfortunately. But at the same time, there's also the aspect of the guy was yelling out he was going to kill everybody in the train. So what do? There's nothing that you can do. Guess what? This is literally where Dricuss du Plessis is at in his moment of time right now when he's going to fight Israel Adesanya. So if he's going to go in there and he wants to have a great fight and implement his game plan and do what he needs to do, he has to leave all of that out of his head, all the guilt, all of this. You know what? Here's the thing with Dricuss du Plessis. He needs to go and embrace this. You know what? You think I'm a racist? So what? So be it. Because look at Israel Adesanya right now. He is loose as a goose. Has no care in the world. Doesn't care about what anybody thinks or anything to that effect. But guess what? It's going to help him in this fight. Because whether he believes it or not in his head that Dricuss du Plessis is a colonizer, that he's a racist, that he's this and that, whether he truly believes that or not, it's obviously enough for him to be so hyper motivated that, I mean, what can you really say, right? You know what I mean? Like, he's really playing into it. And what I'm trying to say is that Dricuss du Plessis is not. He's trying to deviate away from it. He's trying to make this into something else. He's trying to make this about fighting. He's trying to make this about just mixed martial arts in and of itself. But for Israel Adesanya, he's trying to make it more than just mixed martial arts. And maybe sometimes that's really what you need in order for you to succeed in a fight game like this. You need to go out there and make believe that this is more than just a fight. You need to make believe that this is more than just a contest. That it's more than just that. It is the absolute life and death situation of whatever it is that you're motivated by. And if that helps you, that helps you. But for some other people, it just doesn't help them. They're just nonchalant about everything, like Alex Pereira. Everything to him is just like, whatever. I'm in a roller coaster ride, whatever. I'm just going to keep my face straight. I won the championship, great. I'm just going to act the way that I do. And that's it. That's just what, I mean, bottom line, I think you guys have to understand that this is more than just a fight. And I think that a lot of people outside of the mixed martial arts world is definitely going to eat this whole fight up. Because guess what? This is just what casuals are attracted to. They're attracted to fights like this.